The latest data suggests that the number of homes going into escrow and closing is actually slowing, and a lot of the headlines out there are reading that the housing market is starting to slow and the inventory is starting to pick up, and that's going to lead to this major housing crash. I'll tell you, this is not a housing crash video. This is a video where we're actually going to look at the most recent data from the California Association of Realtors with regards to home sales, what's happening with prices, what's happening with inventory, how long is it taking properties to go into escrow, and are they still selling above the asking price? Those are all things that we're going to discuss in today's video. Now, I realize a lot of you watching this video aren't in California, and this video is going to be focused primarily on what's happening in California with regards to data around real estate. As I mentioned a moment ago, we're talking about home sales, we're talking about what's actually happening to prices, supply, and how long it's taking properties to go into escrow. And the reason I bring this up is because regardless of whether you're in California or not, your housing market is being driven by the same exact factors. Now, the numbers are going to be different in your market, but if you see trends like this happening in places like California, there's a really good chance if you've had a hot housing market over the last 18 months or so, you're going to see a similar trend in your market. Now, some markets, the Boise, Idahos of the world, the Phoenix, Arizonas, where a lot of people are still looking to move, those markets could vary a little bit just based on what's happening with regards to, people looking to exit different states because of high cost areas or because of politics or what have you. So you do have some of that playing a part in it. But at the end of the day, regardless of where you are, your market is being driven by supply and demand. If you don't have a lot of something, housing in some cases, and you have a lot of people that want it, then the prices are not going to move. They're not going to vary very much by prices that we've seen recently. Now, you may see a small decline in some markets, but understand where you're seeing that decline from, right? Is it a decline from pre-pandemic levels, or is it a decline from the most recent levels that we've seen? And just think how many buyers are on the sidelines out there still waiting to get in. So if you did see a pullback in prices, how many of those buyers sitting on the sidelines would actually be buyers in the market? My guess is a lot of them. But let's take a look at the most recent data, help you, break it down into what it actually means and talk about whether this is normal for this time of year or if this is completely unusual based on the craziness that we've seen over the last 18 months. Before we get into the data though, I want to take a minute and ask a favor. If you're new to me, new to my channel, it's all about real estate, helping spread reality, what's actually happening in the housing market versus fear-based clickbait headlines. So do me a favor, if you find any value in this content at all, hit that thumbs up. So housing demand slowed for the fourth consecutive month in August, but at the same time, we saw the statewide median home price set another record high. August home sales were down 3.3%. and at the lowest level we've seen in nearly 14 months. At the same time, we saw August set a new median home price at $827,940. And this is the fifth record set in nearly 6 months. So while a lot of people out there are talking about a slowing housing market, yeah, the number of sales are slowing, but the home prices are continuing to increase. As last year at this time, we were at a median home price of $706,000. That's a 17.1% year-over-year increase in the median home price. Now, a lot of the slowing that we're seeing out there is in the lower end price of homes, while the higher end price of homes is continuing to see double-digit gains. Now, why are we seeing a decrease in the lower end number of homes? My guess is because there's less of them out there, right? Prices have gone well above, where prices had been for such a long time, and there's not a lot of the lower end price homes out there, quite frankly. I mean, here in Orange County, where I'm located, if you're looking to purchase a single family home and you're looking for a single family home under $700,000, there's very few of them actually out there on the market. Now, a lot of you that are watching this video in other places are thinking, that's nuts. How can you not buy a single family home under $700,000? It's just, there's not any supply, right? There's not a lot of supply out there. And that's a reason I believe the number of sales in the lower price end is slowing is just because buyers don't have that many options to choose from. They either have to go with a condo or a townhome in many cases, and there's many buyers that are out there looking that don't want to consider those. They want to consider a single family, and when they don't have that option, that means they're no longer a buyer, which means that the market is going to slow in those price points. At the regional level, the number of sales, now this is actually talking about properties that are closing escrow. This has nothing to do with price. 3 of the 5 major regions dipped from a year ago. The far north region had the biggest year-over-year sales decline at 21.9% in August. And they're saying that's primarily due to the Dixie Fire, as 4 of the 6 counties in the region are in the fire zone. Southern California dipped by 4.1%, the Central Valley at 2%. Counties like Riverside, San Bernardino, Madera, and Placer fell by double-digit gains in the number of sales. My guess is just less inventory out there, right? I know a lot of buyers looking in those markets can't find property, and therefore when you can't find property, you can't make an offer on it, it can't close, therefore the number of sales is going to be less. Now if the number of properties had increased substantially and the properties weren't selling, that would be a sign to me that the market's slowing. But at this time, I don't see that. I just think it has to do with less inventory and less buyers actually being able to purchase those homes. Therefore, the numbers are going down. Median prices in all major regions continued to increase by double digits, but none set a new record high in August. The far north had the biggest jump, 19.1% year over year. SoCal at 18.8%, the Bay Area at 18.4%, Central Valley 16.9%, Central Coast 11.4. Even though we still have strong price growth, we're a little bit off from where we were a couple of months ago when we saw 20% year over year increases. After increasing for the past 6 months, inventory has finally leveled off in August. Now, that's going to be different from a lot of the headlines that you're reading out there where it talks about the number of homes going on the market is increasing, everything is slowing, which means that eventually supply is going to exceed demand and it's going to create this housing crash or a debacle in housing, a crisis or whatever. And the reality is inventory has actually slowed, right? It's no longer increasing at the level it was, and a lot of it probably has to do with seasonality. New active listings also dipped from a year ago for the second straight month after growing for 4 straight months from March through June. The dip in new active listings is partly due to seasonality, but the surge in COVID cases may have played a role as well. 2/3 of all counties reported by the California Association of Realtors experienced a drop in active listings from late August, with 27 of them falling more than 10% year over year. Now, I've talked about this in other videos on my live streams where I look at the data in Orange County where I'm located on a weekly basis. I actually look at it on a daily basis, but I more report it on a weekly basis, and I also talk about it in my market here in Huntington Beach, where over the last 8 weeks, 10 weeks or so, we did see inventory levels start to increase. Right here in Orange County, we went from about 2,200 active homes on the market upwards of 2,600, just over 2,600 for quite some time. And then as of yesterday, we dipped back down. We're back down to that 2,200 level. 22 is where we were yesterday. And here in Huntington Beach, we were somewhere around 120 active homes on the market. We went up as high as 170. As of yesterday, we were back down around 140. And every day we have new active listings coming on the market. So active listings are coming on the market, but supply isn't building, which tells me that it's being met with demand. There's still buyers out there looking to purchase property. And even though inventory has increased in some ways, it's being met with demand, even more demand than the number of homes coming on the market, which is keeping supply from increasing. August, 67% of homes sold above the asking price. Now, that's the 11th consecutive month that more than 50% of the homes out there on the market that are selling have sold above the asking price, which goes hand in hand with the sales price to list price ratio being at 102.8. That means that, the majority of homes out there are selling above the asking price, and in most cases, they're selling 2.8% above the asking price. And we currently have the unsold index sitting at 1.9%, which is essentially where it was in July. So it's unchanged month over month. So while you're hearing a lot of reports out there about inventory increase, and the reality is it hasn't really moved month over month. And as we discussed a moment ago, I'm seeing the number of active listings actually decrease in my market. So maybe that's a trend as we move into September. Now, is it due to seasonality? Is it due to the virus out there? Is it due to less people just wanting to put their homes on the market? It's hard to say at this point, but if you continue to see demand strong out there, that means housing isn't really going anywhere. As you see, supply isn't increasing, so as demand stays strong, the housing market isn't going to change with regards to price very much, at least in the near future. And the last thing I want to address here is the median number of days it took to sell a home went from 8 days to 9 days, right? We're still below anything considering a buyer's market, right? Which is about 90 days on the market. Inching up 1 day isn't really significant at all. The fact that, the majority of homes out there are selling in 8 days, 9 days, 10 days, 15 days. It doesn't really matter. I mean, that is very, very quick by any standard, if you will. So if you're looking to purchase a home, just understand the market is still moving sideways to up in most cases. Things are selling quickly. You can ask the buyers that I'm working with out there, we're making offers. A lot of these we're striking out on even when we're offering above the asking price. And when we don't get to see a property, over a weekend or what have you, when we come to, back on Monday and looking to make an appointment, we find out it's already sold with multiple offers. So things are still moving. Don't get the wrong idea if you're looking to purchase a home that things have slowed and you're in a position to make an offer significantly lower than the asking price. The reality is, not much has changed. Yeah, the craziness has changed a little bit with regards to the number of offers you're seeing and how much above the asking price. But the reality is things are still moving, and I don't see much changing in the near future, but I'll continue to update you as things move forward. But if you're considering buying a house, wondering if you should buy now or wait, check out this video here where I give you my thoughts on that. But for now, I appreciate you taking the time to watch. I appreciate all the support. Hope to see you again soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.